Sandra Madaffrey here, just getting myself all sorted out. Bit of a frantic morning for me this morning. As most of you know, I'm actually off to Adelaide this morning to get into quarantine. So thank you. I can see there's a few people joining, so thank you for being here. Let's get this started. I'm just going to share the screen and talk a little bit about how to take action in business. So next week you will be joining me from Adelaide. I will be doing these webinars. We've got the last one of the 7-week series. Thank you for joining me on Facebook as well. So taking action for business. So as you know, it's really important, whether it's business or anything else, that you must take action. So today we're going to talk a little bit about why you would want to take action, a little bit why sometimes it's difficult to take action, and also we're going to talk about some things that you can do to start to take action and some things to stay motivated so that you will take that action. So let's get started. Action itself. Nothing happens without action. Nothing's going to happen unless you actually move and do something and take those steps towards a goal or whatever it is that you want. Make an action plan, have some strategies, whatever it is that you're doing. Unless you take some action, nothing will happen. There's been, I often hear people say, oh, if it's meant to be, it will be. But in actual fact, I suppose to a degree, you can believe that if you want to, but unless you take steps to make something happen, it won't happen. It just will not jump in. Things do not jump into your lap. And even people who say, oh, you know, it was just the universe sent it to me or something like that, unconsciously they would have taken some form of action to get something happening. So remember, nothing happens without action. We live in a 3D world and you need to take action to make something happen. And when I talk about action, I don't talk about routines. A few weeks ago, we spoke a little bit about routines. This is about some big action to get you to your goal. Not little routines. You should be doing those anyway every single day because that helps you be able to take the action and move forward. But I'm talking about some absolutely intentional action to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. So, oh, I forgot to put the chat box down. So I'll bring the chat box down, guys. So please, if anyone wants to say hello, please do. There's quite a few people on here, so I'd love for you to say hello to me. And also, please ask any questions that you might want. So let's have a look. I've put some quotes into today's PowerPoint only because I thought that some of these quotes were absolutely pivotal to what I was going to say. So if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. I often have people contact me and we have brainstorming sessions or quick strategy sessions for a phone call. And they tell me about all the things that they want to do, and they tell me about all the things that, you know, they want and how they want their life to be and how they want their life to change, but they don't do anything about it. We're going to have a chat quickly about why that happens. But you cannot expect something to change, and even if it's something small, you cannot expect something to change if you keep running the same strategy over and over and over again every day. Because when you run strategies every day, from the moment you wake up in the morning, hi Gus, and when you run those strategies, you will always create the same behavior. So if you want something to change, you need to put some form of action into that strategy that's going to give you a different outcome. So if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. The most important thing in business that I cannot stress enough is that you must plan. And whatever goal, whatever strategy, whatever outcome it is that you're looking for, you must plan. You must have some form of plan and then follow through with the action of that plan. Because without it, what happens is then your unconscious mind basically takes over without a plan and will take you wherever it's got to take you. You know, wherever your filters will lead you, rather than having a conscious plan and saying to your unconscious mind, this is where I want to go. So it's that metaphor that I use every now and then about jumping in a car without a destination and just driving around, and eventually you run out of petrol. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Michelle. We've got a few people on Facebook as well. Eventually you run out of petrol, and when you run out of petrol, you end up wherever you end up with no definitive plan. So your unconscious mind is the same. So let's have a look at why it's so hard for people to actually take action. We live within our comfort zone. Our unconscious mind even likes to live within our comfort zone. It's safe. We've been here up until this point most of the time. We stick to what we know. We feel comfortable. There's also biochemical reactions that happen when you do something. So your biochemical reactions are the same today as what they were yesterday when you do the same thing. So it feels good. Emotionally, it feels comfortable. Our brain recognizes it as being normal for us. So it's easy and comfortable to sit within that comfort zone on many, many levels. Okay. So if we have a look at the PowerPoint at the moment, the next thing that happens is that the minute you step out of that comfort zone and you do something a little bit different, your whole body will actually release a different biochemical reaction. So straight away, your body recognizes it as being something different. And we can pretty much say that we get into what we call the fear zone. Sometimes this can also happen if you're doing something where there's excitement, because a lot of people actually can confuse fear and excitement. So what happens is you're stepping out of something that is uncomfortable. You don't know what you're doing. So you start to lack self-confidence. You start to find excuses. In NLP, we say there's only reasons or results. So there's only excuses or results that you're going to get. So then you start noticing things when you're outside of your comfort zone that you've never noticed before. So you start to think, oh gosh, am I doing the right thing? Is this right for me? What's happening? And of course, those biochemical reactions in the body are different to what you're used to doing. So chemically, you're reacting different. And when those biochemical reactions go back to the brain's not recognizing what you're doing. And so all of a sudden, you're a little bit unnerved. So if you keep going, we get into what we call the learning zone. We acquire new skills. We all of a sudden read, listen, watch, and see different things. Different things are being filtered into our system. Different things are coming at us through our filtering system, because all of a sudden we've opened up the ability to see different things. You begin to set some goals, you begin to learn some methods, and you begin to actually acknowledge things that might not be working the way they are, and you can start to pivot. And then if you keep going, again, you're going to have all those biochemical reactions, because this isn't going to feel good. But if you keep going, you go into that growth zone where you open yourself up to, feedback and being able to see if you need to do things different. You face challenges. You practice what you've learned. You start to pursue your goals. You find more meaning and purpose, and you find those challenges and you get through them, because you begin to problem solve from a different space than when you were in the comfort zone. How do you move from the fear zone, Lisa? That's a question that's been asked on Facebook. We're going to talk a little bit about some of that in a minute, but one of the ways you move out of your fear zone is that you actually recognize it as that being just that, and you actually ask yourself, am I in any actual physical danger? I'm not going to go into it too much here because it's something that we're going to learn at NLP. But fear is actually a secondary response to fight or flight. So if you recognize that that fear is actually not danger and it's coming from your unconscious mind, you know, knowing what it's known in the past. Hi, Carol, knowing what it's just doing what it's done before, and it is biochemical reactions, and just you running that pattern of what you've known before, and now it being different, you can actually push through it very a lot easier. Okay, so it's about recognizing it, and like I said, there are other things that you can do. We're going to have a look at that as well in a minute. The sad thing is that only 2% of the population ever actually live in that growth zone. A lot of people will dip out of the comfort zone, feel the fear, and jump back in. A lot of people might jump out of that comfort zone, feel the fear, keep going to that learning zone, and drop back into the comfort zone. But 2% of the population, pleasure Lisa, 2% of the population live in that growth zone. And that's where all the new things happen. And that's where you get to actually begin to experience changes in your life, because you see opportunities that you never saw before. So I'm going to ask you, where are you living? And for many, many years, and I'm talking about most of my life, because I've only just started doing all this teaching and training basically in the last 5 or 6 years, I lived in that comfort zone and there wasn't much happening. And it's not until I stepped out that I actually found different things. And be aware that you keep going backwards and forwards from the growth zone to the learning zone, to the growth zone, to the learning zone, because you never stop growing. Growing is one of our 6 core needs, the 6 core needs that Tony Robbins talks about. It is our 5th core need. It is our first spiritual need. And so your unconscious mind wants more and more. So it will always keep you going, and you will always want more and more. So be aware of that. So how do we get there? How do we start taking action? So here are some steps that I believe these are the ways that I get myself into being able to take action. First, I ask myself, who do you want to be? Who do I want to be? Right? Who do I want to be in this life? Not just what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? What kind of person do I want to be? And in asking myself that, then I begin to realize what I want to do to be that person. So a really important thing, only have 3 outcomes at a time. So set only 3 goals to take action towards. People set so many massive goals, or really set some massive big picture goals, that they can't see themselves getting there. So if you have a big goal, break it down. Okay, so think of 3 things that you can do at one time. So sometimes these goals, one of them might take you 12 months to achieve, one of them might take you 2 months, one of them might take you 1 week. Once you have set all these goals, we're going to go through this, and you've achieved it, then you can introduce something else or go put in the next step. But 3 things at a time, your unconscious mind will get incredibly overwhelmed because there's just too many things to focus on, and it will not know where to look at first. Okay, plan the steps. So if you have got a big 5-year goal or something like that, reverse engineer it, bring it back. You should really only be focusing on, maybe a week at a time, a month at the most, and, reverse engineer backwards and say, what should I be doing today? Break things down. Break things down. One of the reasons why people don't take action is because they don't break down things into little steps. How do you eat an elephant? We've all heard that saying, 1 bite at a time. And this is the same. How do you achieve these goals? One step at a time. How do you take action? One step at a time. And all of a sudden, it doesn't become or look so daunting. Plan it out. So if you've got a 12-month goal, sit with that, take the time to sit with that 12-month goal and work out what you need to do in the next 12 months to get to that goal. Step by step, you know, in 2 months I need to be here, in 3 months I need to be here. Step it out and reverse engineer it. And that's what I say to everyone. Sometimes we start where we are, and where we need to go is just so far away that we cannot foresee what we need to do. But if you reverse engineer and work backwards towards that goal, you will see that it will begin to become easier. Now, do you have to get into real specifics when you reverse engineer? Not until you start coming up to probably the month that you're in right now. So when I reverse engineer my trainings or a workshop or something new that I want to do or anything like that, or a big personal goal that I have, it doesn't just have to be about business, a big personal goal. I look at the goal and I think, okay, well, if in 12 months or in 2 years I need to be here, where do I need to be in 1 year? And then I think, where do I need to be in 9 months, 6 months, and 3 months? And then I start to get really specific. And where I go back to, what do I need to do today to get me to that end of the month goal? Makes it a lot easier, no matter what business you run. You know, whether you have sales targets or whatever it is that you're trying to do, it makes it a lot easier if you reverse engineer your goals. Put it into a planner, put it into a schedule. So if I decide that, you know, one of the things that I need to do this week, and I'm going into isolation this week, and my planner, I've planned out exactly what I'm going to do over the next 2 weeks. It doesn't mean I don't plan free time and things like that. I've got that as well. But there's a couple of things that 3 things that I definitely need to do. And what I do is I actually work out, okay, so to get this done, I set my deadline. I want it done in 2 weeks. It's going to take me at least an hour a day. And I actually schedule that hour per day into my planner. And then I do it. If I go over time, so if the hour's up and I haven't finished it, that's okay. I now put that aside and I take my break, I take my free time, and I go on to my next task when it's time. Okay, so one of the other things that people do is they think they have to finish everything in 5 minutes. You don't have to do that. Plan your time out. So I've planned out 14 hours of a goal that I have by the time I come out of ISO. So, you know, it's more than enough time. So make sure you give yourself enough time to do it. Don't, if you know something's going to take 3 hours, don't plan 2. Okay. And then when you actually, if you have extra time, then you can choose what you want to do with it. Okay. You don't get clarity, you create it. And that is how you create clarity. People often say to me, I don't know how to do something. I don't know how to, I'm not clear. Clarity doesn't just jump in your lap. You need to take the steps to create clarity. And these are some of the steps that help you create clarity. You create a plan so that you can become clear on how you get to where you want to be. So let's have a look at a couple of ways to stay motivated, because this seems to be a massive problem with a lot of people. Challenge yourself with a small goal every day. Okay, so in other words, plan a small little goal every day and challenge yourself to do it. once the unconscious mind sees you challenging yourself to do something, it actually stops resisting. And I say that from actual personal experience, because a couple of years ago, I actually did something that I never thought that I would do. And I got up and spoke. Actually, I got up and trained in front of 88 people. I was asked to run a specific training, and I got up in front of 88 people to do this. Now, normally I would have ran, but it was interesting because when I stood there, I didn't have those usual feelings that I would usually have. And I thought to myself, I think the unconscious mind realizes that I now am going to constantly step out of the comfort zone. And so it's stopped resisting. And that's what it was. It wasn't that I wasn't nervous, because of course I was. It wasn't that I didn't feel excitement, because of course I did. But it was just that the unconscious mind stopped resisting, because I had done this so many times. I had stepped out of that comfort zone so many times. And I'm still doing it every day, including what I'm doing today. This is incredibly out of my comfort zone, where I'm flying interstate to isolate for 14 days on my own in a hotel room, and only allowed out to go and have some COVID tests. So this is very out of my comfort zone on many levels, and lots of other things that are going on for me as well, when values and things like that. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. You want people that say, yes, you can do this. Yes, that they encourage you to step out of that comfort zone. If you've got people around you that say, why are you doing that? Oh my God. All that's going to happen is it's going to drag you back in. It's going to make you feel even more uncomfortable. But if you've got people around you that lift you up, lift your spirits, it helps you to step out of that comfort zone, and it helps you to stay motivated. You get more excited about it. Reward yourself. When you do something, when you do that little goal, when you do challenge yourself and you create and you take that action, reward yourself. The unconscious mind loves being rewarded. It likes more and more. So if it feels that reward, it's going to say, I'm going to do that again. Okay, so pat yourself on the back. We don't do this enough. Even something tiny. If you do take some action and do something, pat yourself on the back. Acknowledge yourself, reward yourself, and every single time you do it, the unconscious mind will enjoy that, and it will want more and more of it. Okay? Remember why. Remember why you're doing what you're doing. Remember why you want to take that action. Okay? And like I said, it goes beyond, what you're going to get. Who do you want to be? What is this going to do for you if you take that action? And when your results or your why becomes bigger than your excuses, nothing will stop you. Okay. Another good way to get motivated is exercise. Move the body, jump up, have a dance, go for a walk. Any exercise at all will get the endorphins in the body moving, and it will help you to take action quicker. Okay. So if you're in a bit of a rut, get up. If you like to dance, move the body. If you like to exercise, go for a walk, whatever it is. But just move your body. Even just getting up and moving away from your computer for, every 75 to 90 minutes, just getting up and going for a walk, just going and making yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or anything like that will help the body get out of that state of procrastination. Okay. This is a good one. Get an accountability buddy. If you need to, get someone who will keep you and help keep you accountable, someone you have to report to. Get a coach or a mentor. One of the best ways to stay motivated is get to a coach or a mentor to help you. And Lisa, you said, how do you get rid of the fear? A coach that is or a mentor that is trained in some of the things like timeline therapy will be able to help you with fears as well. Okay, so get a coach and a mentor that will help push you forward and motivate you. Remember, less talking, more doing. There are people, like I said, that all I hear and all I've heard for a long time is they're going to do this, gonna do that, gonna. Talking, thinking about it, having that thought, whatever it is, does not get you to where you want to go. You have got to take action. You have got to move. And yes, when you move, there may be obstacles that get in the way. Because remember, if you stay in one place, no obstacles are going to come for you. Because there's no obstacles, you're not moving anywhere, you're stuck in that one place, and you won't have any challenges or obstacles. But the moment that you move, you will encounter challenges and obstacles because they're out there. And as you move towards your goal, there might be some, there may not be, but you know what? You keep going. Because it is through those challenges and obstacles that you learn what you need to do. So again, there is no such thing as failure. There's no mistakes. There's always feedback. We learn from everything that we do. A little baby will get up. It will be crawling around. It gets up, tries to walk, it stumbles, and next time it gets up, it does it different. And we are exactly the same with everything that we do. So if you don't sometimes have a challenge or an obstacle, you might not learn what you needed to learn. So less talking, more doing. So that's it for me for today. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for the guys that are on Facebook as well. Please reach out. Remember, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn under my name, Sandra Madafri. I look forward to seeing you the next 2 Mondays. Definitely we'll be going ahead with these webinars. I will be in isolation, but we still will be, I still will be doing these Monday morning musing webinars. And next week is the last of the 7 steps to living with intention, which is flexibility. And I look forward to bringing you that. And then we'll have a look if anyone would like me to do a webinar on anything specific, please reach out to me at admin@sandramadafri.com.au, or find me on any of these social media platforms and let me know what you'd like me to talk about, and I will do my best to create a webinar around that. So let me know if you've got any questions, if you would like to know how you can work with me or any of the workshops and trainings that I run, please reach out. I'd love to have a chat with you. Thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate everyone. Keep me subscribed. You can do that. We don't Fortunata. Thank you, Gus. I'd love to do that. The problem is that we had a consistent subscription to these webinars, and people were complaining because some of them people didn't want to come to them. So you do in your newsletter. So if you've joined my newsletter, you will get a link every week. Just join the link, and every Monday morning you'll be able to join me in these webinars. So I look forward to seeing all of you again next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.